All right, guys, so the car is officially sold, but before we let it go, I wanted to give my final thoughts and impressions on this guy, because this is without a doubt one of the best examples of what Corvette has to offer. And I'll be honest with you guys, I did not want to sell this car. The only reason I did was because I was made an offer that I really couldn't refuse. And with the C8 Z06 coming out within the next year and 6 months or so, I felt like it was the correct time to move away from the C8. Now, with all that said, as you can see there, guys, I put 12,000 miles on the C8 Corvette in the year of ownership I've had it, and I have had an absolute fantastic experience with it. So, outside of the interior being just absolutely perfect, no rips, no tears, no rattles, no dings, no dents, nothing that isn't expected of a car after 12,000 miles, we're going to talk a little bit about my ownership experience and all of the mods we've done to it. So, once I get home, we're gonna park in the driveway and we're gonna talk about it. So let's fast forward 20 minutes, even though it's gonna feel like a couple seconds for you guys. All right, guys, so here we are at my house. We just got the car back, and I wanted to go over some of the things with you guys, talking about exactly what this car is and how it has responded to the 12,000 miles that I have put on it and all the mods that I've done to the car. So if you guys don't recall, I actually bought this car in July of 2020. I put in my allocation in July of 2019, and I got it in July of 2020. I would have had it about 3 months earlier than that if COVID hadn't shut down the plant, but my process took about a year from start to finish. This is the car that I got. I'm going to put it on the screen here because what this car looked like the day I picked it up is nothing like what it looks like now. So as you can see, this particular car was not necessarily ugly by any means, but it was nowhere near as attractive as it is with all of the add-ons that I have done to it throughout this year of ownership. Now, when we're talking about that, I want to let you guys know, since I know the majority of you are not going to be typical subscribers, you're not going to know necessarily what mods I have on this car. Right off the bat, you probably can tell that the paint is not quite the same as what it looked like when I picked it up, and that's because I put XPEL Stealth on this. So it is a paint protection film that gives you a satin finish, and you can kind of see right there with the angles and stuff, it really brings out the cuts in the body lines of this car, especially on the hood. With the satin wrap, it really just accents all of those lines on the hood. It looks really, really great in my opinion. Now, that's obviously not the only thing. The next biggest thing that you're going to notice with the car, other than the paint, is the wheels. So these are actually made by a company called Black Diamond, and they fit the car in a way that really kind of tells me that this car should have come with something like this, because they're very supercar looking. They have a real nice concave feature to them that really just puts the car over the top. It gives it that extra sporty factor that it needs. Now, other than that, the next big one you're going to notice right off the bat is going to be the 5VM, or in this case, the 5W8 ground effects kit, which is a carbon flash painted front lip and carbon flash painted side skirts. Now, the front lip is actually from a company called ACS Composite. All of this stuff I'm going to be linking in the description down below if you guys are interested, but this is the next thing that just makes a gigantic difference on the front end of this car. It looks way better than the stock plastic piece that you get with the Z51. Without the Z51, you literally get nothing down there, and the car looks like it's missing something. After that, we also went with the high wing spoiler from RPI Design. So this spoiler is a mimic or a copy of the GM high wing spoiler from a company called RPI Designs, and it looks fantastic with the body kit or ground effects that the car comes with. Now, without the 5W8 package, I don't think this spoiler looks as good without the extra ground effects, but that's just my personal preference, so yours may vary. Either way, I really like the high wing spoiler on this car. It really, again, gives it that supercar appearance. While we're in the back, I also added the RPI Designs tail light covers. So everything other than the clear part of the tail light has been blacked out to kind of go with the red and black theme of the car. And right down below that, of course, is the AWE exhaust system, which sounds absolutely fantastic. The one thing I noticed right off the bat when jumping in this car for the first time was it isn't very loud. And coming from my C7 Corvette ZR1, I wanted something with a little more volume, and AWE fixed it for me. Not just that, you get the black round tips that really just fill out the exhaust openings in the bumper really nicely. It looks fantastic. Plus, down in here you get a lot of like twisted looking piping to kind of give it that supercar look again, and you can't forget your AWE logo right there in the center of the mesh. And while we're in the back, we'll go ahead and pop the hatch. And this is our next mod right here from our friend Pat over at American Hydrocarbon. He custom paints the engine covers to whatever spec you want. Now in this case, I obviously went with satin red with carbon flash rails and the torch red Corvette lettering in there to kind of match everything that the car has currently. And then of course, this particular car came with the engine appearance package, which gives it that carbon fiber on the sides and the engine lights up there. Aside from that stuff, guys, we have 20% window tint that is ceramic based, so it is made by XPEL. It's called their XR Plus. It blocks out heat as well as makes the car look a little bit cooler. It doesn't have that fishbowl look anymore. Now, outside of that stuff, we also do have the Extreme Online Store mud guards, or the extended mud flaps on the front and rear of the car to kind of help stop rocks from kicking up and damaging the paint, or in this case the XPEL. In the front we have the blackout bow ties that I am selling on my website. Of course, will be linked in the description down below. This will of course black out that gold bow tie in your Corvette flag and really give it a custom appearance. It is unbelievable how much of a difference this makes on something so tiny. It really just helps make the car look the way it should, in my opinion. Down from there we have the C8 Vet Parts Online grills that protect the radiator. So those actually go on the outside of the current radiator grill to not allow as many bugs or rocks to fly in there and damage the radiators. These were really easy to install. Again, I'll link that video right up here somewhere if you want to check it out. But at the end of the day, these are one of the more necessary mods, in my opinion, to make sure that those radiators stay undamaged. Now, that's pretty much it as far as the mods are concerned, guys. There's a couple little things here and there that aren't really a gigantic difference maker, so I'm not really going to talk a whole lot about them. But in my opinion, for the 1 year I've owned the car, the 12,000 miles I've put on the car, this thing has been super solid. Outside of the obvious axle problem I had at the drag strip, I have not had any issues with the car. No rips in the leather, no rattling from places that shouldn't make any noise, no brake problems, nothing. So there's been a couple different recalls for the car that have literally not affected me. I haven't had any of those problems. Now with the frunk recall, if you guys can remember that, that was actually handled over the air. I didn't even have to go to the dealership for that. And that was, again, an issue that did not personally affect me. There was also an issue with the electronic brake booster. Again, did not affect me, but I did get all of these updates over the air, so I didn't have to go to the dealership or be bothered with any of it, which in my opinion is a really cool way of handling these things. But anyway, we're going to open up the interior here, take a look at the inside so you guys can see what the interior looks like after 12,000 miles. Again, no rips, no tears, no rattles, nothing crazy. I do have the competition seats in here and they have held up very well on 12,000 miles. They still look brand new. Got the carbon fiber inserts, the carbon fiber dash pieces, all this stuff still looks brand new. There is almost no wear on anything. So I know a lot of you out there are going to say, well, yeah, Justin, 12,000 miles isn't that much, but for a Corvette and a car that's only a year old, in Pennsylvania, we don't get to drive them all year round. So 12,000 miles in a year on a Corvette is actually a pretty good amount. And some of the bigger chunks of miles actually came from a drive from PA all the way to Florida and back. So this car is also a very good road trip car. Believe it or not, even with the competition seats, this was very comfortable for me and my wife both to take all the way down to the Florida Keys and back to Pennsylvania. So at the end of the day, guys, I really can't say enough good things about the car. It is officially sold and will be picked up very soon here by the new owner, and I'm kind of sad about it. I'll be honest with you. I didn't really necessarily want to sell the car, but I was offered a price I just couldn't refuse, and with the Z06 coming what seems to be pretty soon, I wanted to get myself in a position where I was ready for that car. And the Z06 is the one that I really wanted from the very beginning. So this is why I did what I did. But the new owner is going to get one heck of a car because this thing is an absolute beast. And I honestly don't have anything bad to say about it. If I had to really nitpick, the only thing I would say is that maybe it needs a little more horsepower, which of course is going to be solved with the Z06. Maybe it needs wider rear fenders to kind of give it that more wide supercar appearance, but honestly at this point I'm just nitpicking because the car looks fantastic as it is. I don't really have anything negative to say about it. So in my 12,000 miles of ownership, my 1 year of ownership, I have experienced a lot of things with this car and none of them have been bad. I would give this car 2 gigantic thumbs ups because it is just that good. I know you guys have all seen a bunch of Corvette reviews recently, so I'm sure this is no shock to you, but in my opinion, and I have had my fair share of experience with Corvettes, this one is probably going to be better than any other generation by far. This C8 is already way better than the C7 Stingray. The C8 Z06 is no doubt going to be leaps and bounds better than the C7 Z06. And then the C8 ZR1 is just going to crush the C7 ZR1. I know that that is how it's going to be, because this car, whenever I first got it and I was really driving it a lot, loving it, I was very close to saying that I like driving this better than my ZR1. And that's huge for me, because I'm a big manual transmission guy, and this car is not a manual, and I still absolutely love driving this thing. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. So if you have any questions about the C8 Corvette, please leave them in the comment section down below. I would love to engage in a conversation with you about it, because this is a fantastic car and I love talking about it. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free, shoot them down in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I am going to still have a lot of C8 Corvette content coming. I have a lot of friends with C8 Corvettes that we're still going to be doing future modifications with. So you're still going to see C8s on this channel, as well as the C8 Corvette news, the C7 ZR1, and my C5 Corvette giveaway car that you could win. You're definitely not going to want to miss any of this stuff, guys. And as always, I will catch you in the next upload. How would you like to win this Corvette? It may be a lot easier than you may think. If you guys aren't familiar with my YouTube channel, it is called Horsepower Obsessed, and I just recently hit 50,000 subscribers, and because of that, I wanted to give back. All you have to do is go to my website, horsepowerobsessed.com, scroll down and click on the HPO merchandise section. Every $10 you spend is one entry to win this beautiful C5 Corvette. So right off the bat, we have the black diamond wheels, which gives the car an amazingly updated appearance. In the front end, we have the entire bumper and hood covered with XPEL paint protection, thanks to our friends at Blackout Tinting. The rest of the car has been paint corrected and ceramic coated. So you are getting one of the best examples of what Chevy had to offer with Corvette with this specific car. If you want to follow along with the mods on this particular car until the deadline of the giveaway, check out my YouTube channel, Horsepower Obsessed, and make sure you get entered before October 12th, 2021, so you can possibly take this car home with you.